Alors, bonsoir à tous. Je voulais passer un message très important. C'est que Jésus, la rapture est prête. D'accord? La rapture peut se faire entre 6 à 9 ans. D'après une étude que les pasteurs ont étudiée, ils ont étudié la Bible et là, ils ont vu que Jésus-Christ va venir dans 6 ans, en 2029. Mais, par exemple, il y a des fois que les théologiens ont fait une estimation des chiffres. S'il y a un petit décalage dans les chiffres, ça peut prendre 9 ans pour que Jésus vienne. Alors, il est très important que vous faites le nécessaire, acceptez Jésus, ne pas faire des mauvaises choses, accepter Jésus, revenir à Dieu. Et là, aussi, la Bible a dit qu'il y a la rivière Euphrate. Et la Bible dit que le jour que cette rivière va se dessécher, il y a 4 démons qui vont sortir de cette fleuve parce que quand Satan voulait prendre la place de Dieu, Dieu l'a mis sur la terre, d'accord? Dieu l'a chassé c'est-à-dire du paradis. Il y avait aussi ce 4 démons que Dieu a enchaînés parce qu'ils étaient plus dangereux que Satan. Alors Dieu les a mis sous cette fleuve. Et la Bible a dit que le moment que cette fleuve va se dessécher, les 4 démons il va être libéré pour détruire l'humanité. Pas tous, mais il y aura quelques tiers de l'humanité qui va être détruite par ces 4 démons. Alors, effectivement, le fleuve est desséché. Et là, les 4 démons est déjà relâchés dans l'air pour détruire l'humanité. Alors, il va falloir que vous acceptez Dieu. On n'a que 6 ans à 9 ans devant nous. Mais on a dit que c'est 6 ans. 6 ans. 2029, Jésus doit revenir. S'il y a un petit décalage dans les chiffres qu'on a estimé, ça va prendre 9 ans. Alors, on a 6 à 9 ans pour qu'on prépare, mais préparez-vous pour 6 ans. Et je vais passer le petit vidéo, mais le vidéo est en anglais. Je ne sais pas si vous allez essayer de comprendre ce que le pasteur de Nigérien a dit. D'accord?
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Notice, it's not the Son of Man, it's the sign. Because Christ is not coming to earth. We shall be caught up with him in the clouds. Sign. And then shall all tribes of the earth mourn. Not cry, mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Say they shall see. It's that flash that will take place. And it's a sign, so they won't know it, what it was. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from end to end of the heaven, the other. Everyone. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. Do you see that? When his branch is yet tender and putting forth leaves, you know that summer is near. Do you know what he's talking about here? The fig tree is Israel. So he says, learn the secret that is in Israel. When you see Israel becoming a nation, 1948. So he's predicting that after 1948, let's go. So likewise, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even to the doors. Yeah. Verily I say unto you, this generation from 1948, there is Platonic, then there's chronological. Platonic is 40 years, chronological is 100 years. So now he's telling you right there that when you see this generation that shall see the gathering of leaves of Israel, which is 1948 generation, Platonic and what? Biological, chronological, which is like 140. So we're looking at 100 years because 40 is already gone. So we know for sure 1988 is already gone. Jesus didn't come. So we know this generation is not talking to us about this 40-year one. He's talking about 100 years. That's exactly how they measure it. So we are putting 100 years on 1948. That's 2048. It says this generation that will get to 2048 will not pass away until I come. So we know 2048, you take 2048, then you realize one problem in 2048. It's talking about the coming as the parousia. Okay, are you here? The parousia means the second coming. This Rapture is not second coming. No, they didn't get it. Rapture is not second coming. He is not coming to earth. We are seeing his sign. Between this rapture, there is 3.5 years that will be there. That will be for peace. But there is 7 years whilst we are in heaven for the second coming to happen. So after 2048, remove 7 years. Now you are left with what? 2000 and what? And 41. Now you realize that we started calculating that AD 01 is the time Jesus was born. No, it was AD 4. That means we are wrong by 6 years. So reduce 6 years, 2037. Now notice one thing that he said. Again, the scriptures before that. Let's go back to that scripture. So we are on 2000 what? 37. Let's go back a little bit. Now the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves. Now we have a problem. Now he's talking about putting forth leaves. It's not talking about the time it starts. You didn't hear? That means 2048 or 1948 is when it was established that Israel has become a nation. But it is few years before that it became a nation before being confirmed. So it says when it starts putting forth leaves, you now know it's about to become a what? A real plant in 1948. That means we have to go back to almost the time when the negotiations between Rothschild and Britain started, where they were now talking about, we'll give you money to fight Germany, and if you make Israel a nation. Then we realized it was at least 5 to 6 years before that. Then we removed 6 years from, now we are left with 2000 and what? 29. 31. Okay. 2031 from 2022. 9 years. You're getting the idea. Now you're looking at me. You didn't know how they calculate this thing. Hey, I'm not like that. You're left with 9 years to fix yourself. That is if it doesn't come for you tonight. 2029. Okay, 41 minus 6, this, and then minus 6. 2029. This is 2000 and what? 22. Please, 7 years. The only way it cannot be 2029 is if we are wrong and theologians are wrong. No, and people who calculate days are wrong, that we messed up the calculations of when AD 1 is. And we say, okay, let's bring back the 6 years. So we put them in 6 years. We're still on 13 years. And when we say 13 years, notice here, when we say 13 years, we are not saying he can't come back tomorrow. This is where the people get it wrong. We are giving you the maximum. That means he can come a few seconds from now. Let me tell you something. There is no prophecy in the Bible that needs to be fulfilled now for him to come. All of them are fulfilled. That's the danger. If we had something like the temple needs to be built for God to come, that's an issue. And the biggest problem is for the second coming to come now, there is some prophecies that need to be fulfilled before he does. And the prophecy is already fulfilled in China in this way, because the temple has to be built up for him to come. Now China can build a building in 24 hours. Trust me. 40 stories, Chinese people. Short like this would do it. I'm telling you now, when COVID started, they did 24 hours. Hospital was standing there. Hospitals and doctors are already working in there. You think the temple needs 40 years to be built. You still have time. It's only on the foundation. Don't worry, we have time. No. That's the second coming, not the rapture. So if I calculated this, you have no time to be funny like you are right now. Set your course and say, I'm now working for God. You thought this verse was not there. So you're trying to figure out how you can escape where we are getting it wrong. One day you wake up. Like, this thing was real. These people were real, yeah? It was really